What's cooking, Juventus fans? Welcome back to your old lady's favorite YouTube channel. Yes, of course, yesterday we got to celebrate a 2-0 victory over Udinese in the Serie A, but we're still in the heat of what is a really important mercato for Juventus. Will they make moves? Will they not make moves? Who will be sold? We have some updates regarding all those players. Maybe some Arthur interests you. Maybe some interesting young Italian players will interest you. And then, of course, are they going to send some young guys out? Maybe a Soule? Stick with us. We'll fill you in now. Ciao ragazzi, welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. My name is Justin Sofro. Today it is Sunday, January 16th, 2022, and of course I have your latest rundown of all things Juventus, all the good stuff that you care about. Before we do anything though, make sure you go ahead and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and also hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. Of course, stay up to date of all the news when it comes to good things and bad things, but mostly hopefully good things regarding your Juventus football club. Let's go ahead and just jump into today what news we have for you regarding some of the players. First off, we're going to talk about Chiesa and his situation. There's been a lot of rumors floated out there about when he's going under the knife. It's kind of an odd kind of reporting pattern because so many people, I guess, wanted to be the first ones to report that that Chiesa was getting surgery done. I don't know. That's more to you, bro, I guess, if that's what you're really interested in. But, of course, Romeo Guaresti, the top source for all things when it comes to Juventus stuff, reported that Chiesa will undergo surgery in Innsbruck on Wednesday. There were a lot of reports that he had already done it a couple of days ago or something like that. It was just a lot of nonsense. I just didn't understand it if it wasn't the true for his ACL that he had suffered, if it wasn't like a true surgery being done or whatever at the time, I don't understand having to have that news out there first. I don't know. I understand getting the mercato stuff and all the players coming in and out, but a guy having surgery. Anyway, let's move it on. Next topic of the day really has to talk about Arthur and his future and his situation with Juventus as it stands. First up, Fabrizio Romano, the Premier League pro himself, said that there's still nothing agreed for Arthur Melo deal. Next week will be key. Arsenal have decided to push again with Juventus loan move not approached. I guess I don't know why I said that yet. Approached yet by Allegri. It goes on to say Juve board have not opened talks for Chelsea for Loftus-Cheek either as a potential replacement for Arthur as of now. So that's I think a lot of people were not too sure about the whole Loftus-Cheek situation. It seems right now more than likely it's less likely that he'll be an option for Juventus really in the near future. Let's move it on though because we have a couple parts when it comes to the Arthur saga, and that's Romeo Guaresti is also reporting, giving a little bit more. I don't want to like say anything nuanced view, but he really a view really that's more in touch with Juventus, at least it seems that way. He goes on to say that a new contract is expected between Monday and Tuesday on the Arsenal front. The position of Juventus does not change without a replacement, and with certain characteristics, no green light for the transfer. So again, it makes sense. Why would they do that? Why would they end up sending him away and then losing another pretty good midfielder if you look at what we have otherwise, especially with Ramsey, Rabiot, Bentancur, who played well yesterday. I give him his credit. I just don't know that Bentancur will do it again this season. We'll see. Hopefully he surprises me there. But yeah, definitely, unless we can find somebody else who's a solid midfielder, who would you really go after? And we'll talk about that here in a second. Next up, again, continuing on the Arthur front, Gazzetta dello Sport basically says pretty, I don't want to say ham-fisted, but you know what I mean? Pretty seriously, just goes on to say that Arthur will stay at the club. And the only player that is on the move this month is Aaron Ramsey. So it's also been kind of quiet when it comes to the Aaron Ramsey front. We'll see. Hopefully some news starts to pick up with him actually making a move and getting out of here. We'll see if anything even happens this mercado. But I feel like that's the most likely case of action as it currently stands. But hopefully we will see Aaron Ramsey making a move so that way Juventus fans can sleep well at night. Well, and then going off of that, what are we talking about when it comes to a player that could come in the midfield right now? We've talked about some of the topics of an idea of Rovella coming back from his loan. It seems unlikely as it stands right now. I think it basically confirmed that Rovella will stay there until next year, and then he'll probably come back in the summer. Likes of Chouamini, likes of Zakaria, those guys aren't happening right now. So what is an option that maybe they can look at? We'll see if this ends up coming to fruition, but I'll tell you right now, I personally like it. And that is the topic given by Gazzetta dello Sport, who is saying that Juventus are very interested in Frattesi, Davide Frattesi, who is valued at 25 million euros by Sassuolo. Okay, first off, now that Juventus needs to become Sassuolo 2.0 or something like that, you bring in Locatelli, then you get Davide Frattesi, and then you look at the summer and you bring in Scamacca. Again, we'll see if it ends up happening, but I really do like the player Frattesi, the central midfielder. I think he has a strong game, and I think he brings a lot that could be useful for Juventus, especially in the coming years. I understand he's young, so he's not fully developed. So maybe you want somebody a little bit more already has a strong history as a midfielder. Maybe somebody, obviously like a Pogba or somebody like that who comes in and you know what you get from him. We'll see. But as it stands right now, if they can work out some kind of deal, I understand it says 25 million euros. There's one thing I think I've learned from Cherubini and the situation over the summer when it comes to Sassuolo and Locatelli. If it's a deal that they want to get done, they might be able to get it for cheaper. That's all I'm going to say. We'll see if it happens, but that's one thing it looks like going in through there. I would really like to see it potentially bring him in. Also, though, right now, Inter are also very, very interested in bringing in the likes of Davide Frattesi. So those will be your probably biggest rivals if it ends up heating up and becoming a serious thing. Okay, of course, we've talked about Frattesi in the past, but at the same time, as it stands right now, we'll see if it continues to develop into a more solid story coming in the next few weeks actually you have 2 weeks. You got like 15 days, 2 weeks before all this is up. Next up, though, we got to talk about this. That's Romeo Gresti, who is addressing the situation about Soule. I was talking about a young Juventus player that a lot of guys are high on. It says in the last weeks at Juve, several requests have arrived for Soule from Italy and abroad with a loan formula. But the Bianconeri project doesn't change. The Argentine will finish the season in Turin. So as it stands right now, it looks like Soule will stay here in Turin, potentially be able to play a few more games, hopefully. At least with the U23 squad. But definitely, if he can end up continuing to play for Juventus and maybe develop, I know people are really high on this player. There's a reason that Argentina made a move so that way Italy couldn't put him playing for their national team. That Argentina was very serious about looking at that player for the future, and they believe that he can become something serious. We'll see how that pans out, but as it stands right now, Juventus are pretty... They seem to be somewhat invested in the player and want to keep him around for the near future. Let's continue on, though. Let's talk about the final bit of the news that we really have for you today. And I know it's a little bit of a shorter video, but I think a lot of people end up liking that. It's a more quick hit overall. And that's talking about Tuttosport has something about right now when it comes to the mercato. Don't expect that the striker room will get a significant boost until the summer, really. As it stands right now, there are 15 days to the end of the market, and the Bianconeri haven't changed their strategy after the last 2 games. If a forward will arrive, it will be a low-cost one to preserve the summer budget. Asmun remains the number 1 target. Again, if you can get this guy for real cheap, I'm okay with it. I'd be open to it. He seems decent, and especially if you can get him for 5-10 million euros. We'll see. I mean, or if you can get him just on a loan. I don't know exactly the formula and how it would work out. We'll see if it'll happen. I'm still not super high on getting a player like this for the long term for Juventus. So if you just add another guy to the wages, we'll see about that. But I really would rather go for, obviously, the likes of Vlahovic. And then there's Scamacca, who I like Scamacca, but I just don't think he's the same as Vlahovic. And it's still kind of I don't know. Is it kind of depressing to be like Scamacca's the guy who's supposed to come in and save Juve? It was a goal this morning that he ended up playing in a 4-2 loss to Hellas Verona. But again, at least he scored there. Again, I don't know how consistent of a score Scamacca can be in long term. At least if you bring in somebody, you need them to be at least a 20-goal scorer throughout the season. So that's the one thing that I really wonder there if that'll be something that'll happen. And again, I know that wasn't the real topic of it was right now. The real topic of the news was the here and now. What can we get? Asmun's an option. I'm still kind of believing that we'll just stick with what we have. Anyway, guys, that's the main news for today. That's what we really have, the updates regarding all things that you care about Juventus, all the things that you care about when it comes to the mercato and how the season will look going forward for the club. Let me know your thoughts on the different news topics we talked about today. Are you glad Arthur is staying? Again, am high on Archer. I'd like to see him stay and continue maybe to see a triumvirate of him alongside McKinney and Locatelli as well. Maybe be utilized a little bit more often. Let me know if you have any other thoughts as well. Frattesi, all that good stuff in the comments section down below. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri.